With national security as the trump card, the BJP released its 45-page election manifesto just 3 days before India starts to vote. The Prime Minister, along with the Home Minister and the BJP President, flanked by other union ministers, released the BJP's manifesto. It's promising 75 milestones by 2020 when India will celebrate its 75th Independence Day. The promise of the Ram Mandir, the Uniform Civil Code, abolition of the autonomous status to Jammu and Kashmir, all find a mention in the manifesto. The BJP is also promising to extend the Prime Minister's Kisan scheme to all farmers, though it does not specify it will include land-owning and tenant farmers. It also does not specify how the scheme will be funded. The BJP is also hinting at some rationalization of income tax slabs, but no concrete promises being made. On the GST, the BJP promises a simplified process, but unlike the Congress, which has promised a single rate structure, there is no specific mention of rate convergence. A war of words has erupted between the BJP and the opposition after the manifesto release. Here's a quick look at the face-off before we get into the details of the promises being made to voters.
राष्ट्रवाद ये हमारी प्रेरणा है, अंत्योदय ये हमारा दर्शन है और सुशासन ये हमारा मंत्र है।
मैं समझता हूं कि ये जो मैनिफेस्टो जारी किया, इससे तो अच्छा था कि ये माफीनामा जाहिर करते।
हम जब इस मैनिफेस्टो को लेकर के आए हैं तो साफ है हमारे मन में वन मिशन, वन डायरेक्शन।
इसमें सिर्फ मैं हूं। एक तरफ जनता है, कांग्रेस पार्टी है, एक तरफ सिर्फ मैं हूं।
दिस मैनिफेस्टो in a season of manifestos is not prepared with a टुकड़े mindset.
मोदी सरकार का सफरनामा जो आज हमने देखा वो जुमलों से झांसों तक है।
मोदी जी देश की नब्ज पहचानते हैं, राहुल गांधी देश की नब्ज नहीं पहचानते।
फिर एक बार उन्होंने किया झांसा पत्र तैयार, देश की जनता खारिज करेगी इस बार और झोला उठाकर हो जाओ जाने को तैयार।
Well, that's the face-off between the BJP and the Congress. It's not just the Congress, but other opposition parties, the regional parties, have also come out and spoken out against the promises made by the BJP in its manifesto. Joining us now to take this discussion forward, Syed Zafar Islam of the BJP, Sanjay Jha, Congress spokesperson, Rahul Verma, fellow at the Centre for Policy Research, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist, Amit Shah, founding member of Swaraj India, and Yogendra Yadav. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on the program. Zafar, if I could start by asking you, and I know there's going to be lots of comments that are going to come in from the panel, but I want to ask you a very specific question because this is one of the big promises that the party has made in its manifesto. Under the heading of doubling farmers' income, first of all, you also now talk about how you will make efforts to double farmers' income and that goal by 2022. You're not giving an assurance that this promise of yours that was made previously will in fact be delivered on. Secondly, the big promise that you've made on the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, the income support scheme that was announced in the budget. You say that it will now be extended to all farmers, but there is no clarity on what you mean by all farmers. There is no clarity on how much money this scheme will require. Are you delinking it to ownership? Will you continue to link it to ownership? What is going to be the plan as far as PM Kisan is concerned? Zafar Islam.
Let me, Shireen, thank you very much. Let me start with this visionary Sankalpat which has been presented by the party today. And it has covered every section of the society, be it farmer, be it women, be it pensioners, be it laborer, be it the marginalized section of the society, be it the medium income group, or for that matter, everyone, be it the retailers, be it the shopkeepers, or even the MSME, sure. Everyone's concern has been addressed in this visionary Sankalpat. What is important for all of us to realize that the issue which has been prioritized by us is, as you rightly pointed out, the farmers is something which the farming community has been clearly their concern have been addressed. The national security is of paramount importance for us, and that is something which has been clearly articulated in our Sankalpa. The terrorism is a menace which needs to be addressed. This concern needs to be addressed for the security and safety of every citizen. That has also been addressed. the ease of living, which I think no channel is focusing on that. I think that is important
Zafar,
because
I'm sorry I'm interrupting you.
Just take 2 seconds.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but I'll ask you a very specific question because, you know, there is going to be a long list of promises that we will discuss. Hence, I'm asking you a specific question. Okay, go ahead.
I'm coming to that. I'm saying just 2 seconds. Now, all I'm saying that the ease of living is something which the Honorable Prime Minister has very clearly said that is our priority because the common man should feel comfortable with the day-to-day the hardship he is facing, and those needs to be concerned needs to be addressed. Like, for instance, water connection to every household, the electricity to every household, or the pakka makan to every poor. All these things have been addressed. Now, specific question you have posed in terms of the farmer. You haven't mentioned about the 1 lakh interest-free loan which will be given to farmers. That is the interest-free loan.
Sir, can you answer my question? I'm asking you, Zafar, this is unfair. This is unfair. No, you asked me to give you enough time for you to articulate everything else besides answering my question. Now I'm asking you a very specific question, sir. My question to you is, and I'm reading it from your manifesto, sir. You talk about only one line. We will further expand the coverage of the scheme to all farmers in the country. My simple question to you is, what does that mean?
See, I'm addressing that. See, your question is, of course, we have made an announcement that earlier it was only restricted to 2-acre land, who's holding a 2-acre land, but this now has been open for other farmers as well. The entire cost, everything, whatever it will cost to the government of India is something which will be worked out, and soon it will be announced also by the party that actually how much it will cost to the government of India. So that it is like unlike
what does it mean, sir? When you say all farmers, sir, 1 second. No, 1 second, sir. Where you can argue about the Nyaya scheme, but the Nyaya scheme has given you a number. You can argue about where the money will come from, but there is a number given. My simple question to you is, what does all farmers mean? Are you delinking it in any form or fashion to ownership? Is it going to mean that you can be the owner of 10 acres or 10 hectares of land and you will still be able to avail of benefits under this scheme? You can be a tenant and you will be able to avail of this scheme. Please explain to us, what does this promise mean?
Yeah. See, you have to understand why the restriction has been lifted. First, as you rightly pointed out, there are some farmers who do not have land. There are some farmers who have land less than 1 acre or more than 2 acres. So some mechanism will be developed. It's not that 2 acre is the something which has been mentioned in the past as part of the scheme that was restricted to only farmers which is holding 2 acre land. But now there is a method which will be used to determine the scheme exactly how much and who will be covered, but most of the farmers will be covered. That is something which has been announced, and how much it will impact to the government of India in terms of the commitment to be made by in the budget
there are more
is something
questions.
which also be notified
There are
soon.
more. Okay, there are more questions than answers when it comes to one of the key promises that you are making in your manifesto. Let me get to Yogendra Yadav because we have him just for a couple of minutes to respond to what has been specifically announced as far as the agri side of the manifesto is concerned. Yogendra, you just heard there from Zafar Islam, there is no clarity on how the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana, the income support scheme, will be extended to all farmers. What does it mean by all farmers? How much is it going to cost? We don't have answers to that. On balance, what do you make of the manifesto, specifically on the agri promises? Also, when it comes to doubling farm income, as I said, the manifesto now says we will make all efforts to achieve this goal by 2022.
Shiri, as was quite evident from Zafar Bhai's response, they have not even thought through what they have said. He was talking about 2 acre. Actually, it's 2 hectare was the ceiling. And all that it would mean is that even farmers above 2 hectares will get it. The real issue, as you rightly pointed out, was that of farmers who own no land at all, who are either tenant croppers, who are sharecroppers. What happens to them? It is entirely unclear and shall remain unclear. there is another jumla of 25 lakh crore rupees of investment in agriculture. Would anyone care to point out? I mean, now that we have asked all kinds of questions about 3.6 lakh crore rupees of Nyaya scheme, will anyone in this country ask them where would this 25 lakh crore come from? In any case, there are two specific things there. One is Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana will become optional and voluntary, which is an admission that the scheme has failed, has been coercive. And in effect, it would mean an end to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. On the irrigation front, the government has, the BJP has admitted that out of 99 schemes, which they had said they would finish by March 2018, only 31 has been done. 68 are still to be done. But the most important point, Shireen, is that over the last few years, farmers' movements have made two demands, including BJP's farmers, including RSS-led farmers' organizations. One, remunerative guaranteed prices. Two, a loan freedom. There is not a word about these. This is shocking. This is utterly shocking. Clearly, BJP is telling the farmers, go ahead, do what you like. We don't care. And this, as you pointed out, on the doubling of farmers' income, BJP has actually retraced its steps. Now they are saying, we will not double the income. We will make every effort to ensure that it might happen. Not a single. So what is specific about this, about the manifesto today, is that it actually neither gives an account of what happened in the last 5 years, nor gives a blueprint of what would happen in the last 5 years. I think Mr. Modi has learned his lesson. He must have said, look, don't make a promise to which I can be held accountable in a year or two. So just be vague. And this is perfectly vague, makes no promise, gives no accountability. What do you do with a document like this? Why was it made in the first place? Why do we need a manifesto if it does nothing?
Yogendra Yadav, as we discussed when the Congress released its manifesto, and you said that, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. The narrative, whether it's the manifesto, it was the speeches that we heard today before the unveiling of the manifesto were clear. This is an election that the BJP is going to contest on national security, on Rashtravad. So does any of the rest of this stuff that we're discussing really matter, Yogendra?
From the manifesto, it is quite clear that BJP thinks that manifestos are rubbish. We don't need to say anything. We shall win election by making speeches. People listen to speeches. Who looks at manifestos? And why get accountable in any case? Some of us had those expectations, especially because Congress manifesto did mention at least the main demands of the farmers' movement. They were specific. And I thought that, okay, the BJP would try to match it. They might try to even better it. But no, now the message is quite clear. Manifestos are bogus. We don't care. We've done what we've done. We will do the way we do. If you want to, go ahead and vote. Now it's for farmers to decide whether they want to do so. But clearly, this is almost an official statement to say, we don't care.
Okay, we don't care. That's the official statement that Yogendra Yadav believes this manifesto throws up for the agriculture community. Yogendra, appreciate you joining us. Let me bring Sanjay Jha of the Congress Party into the conversation. Sanjay, let's not focus on agriculture because I think we've spent enough time on the program discussing the promises made and the challenges ahead. Let's talk about some of the other schemes that the BJP has promised in its manifesto when it comes to, for instance, employment, even specifically on taxation, on the GST. They talk about simplification, but there is no rate convergence roadmap that has been laid out there. Sanjay Jha, your time starts now.
Shireen, just one quick comment on agriculture. I think it's either intellectual bankruptcy or a deliberate attempt to be disingenuous with reality, which is why the BJP is still talking about doubling farm income. To add to what Yogendra Yadav mentioned, you have had 2.9% growth in agriculture for the last 5 years. I mean, the question that any farmer is going to ask, how are you going to double that by 2022? I mean, it's a ridiculous number. Is agriculture going to grow at 20% per year for the next 3 years? It's the worst kind of political hypocrisy that I've ever seen. But to answer your question, I'm astonished that besides farmers, on jobs, this government is totally silent, or rather the BJP is totally silent. I mean, think about it, that you are talking about whichever survey you take. The BJP, of course, doesn't even publish reports that ought to have been in the public domain, there is a serious problem. And it's not just that jobs haven't happened. There are job losses that have happened. So the problem is actually a double whammy for the demographic dividend of India. Now, I can only quote our manifesto, which said a Ministry of Employment, because we realize that joblessness has serious social consequences. We have talked about filling up vacancies of 20-odd lakh jobs. We have talked about employing people in the Gram Panchayats of India. And we have talked about incentivizing corporate sector that hires more people. Now, I am astonished that this government has chosen to completely ignore that. So I think, you know, end of day, when I look at their manifesto, I'm bewildered because, you know, the number of times the BJP has asked us this question, where will this 3 lakh come from for Nyay? Let's take that one example. And look at it, Shirin, you're a seasoned business journalist. They're talking of 100 lakh crore for infrastructure, 100 lakh crores, 25 lakh crores for agriculture. So, I mean, these are, you know, fantastic numbers. I mean, these are like mythical, you know, fantasies. And I think if this is the way they're going to treat a manifesto, you know, as some kind of a document
Shirin, can I just respond to that?
I think it's an insult to the collective intelligence of India.
Yeah. Zafar, I'll come back to you. Let me bring all the other panelists in, let them give their comments, and then I'll get you to respond to what they have to say. Rashid, let me ask you now, is any of this going to matter? The narrative has been set as far as the BJP is concerned. And also, I think, you know, one of the problems, for instance, in our montage, it seemed to be the BJP versus the Congress, but that's clearly not the case. It is the BJP versus regional parties and the Congress as well. Is this going to make any difference on the campaign trail with the election narrative?
Actually, not at all. I think we look at it last time around what had happened in 2014. The BJP manifesto came when people had started voting. So, and yet Prime Minister Modi and BJP got a comprehensive mandate. Second thing is, I think the BJP is overestimating the potential of Congress, all the issues of national security and
underestimating the regional parties.
Whereas it's the other way around. Yeah. Actually, the battle for 2019 is being fought in states and where regional parties are there, particularly on the eastern side, and there's going to be a very difficult time BJP is going to get vis-a-vis regional parties like Mamta, Biju Janata Dal, DMK and several other political parties. So I think a lot of that hype, first of all, as we have discussed, you know, election manifestos are not very effective. If they are effective, then the BJP is targeting a wrong political party.
Okay, they're targeting the wrong political party, but the issue of nationalism, security, you know, zero tolerance for terrorism and so on and so forth, is this going to continue to dominate? The BJP might want it to dominate the narrative, but is it likely to work on the ground, or will pocketbook issues come into play?
Shirin, this we'll get to know only on May 23rd, but initially after this airstrikes, it appeared that the BJP has a huge advantage. Now from ground zero, we gather that this is a contributing factor. This is Indian voter is highly volatile. It's not a, you know, single issue election. So it is not that just on issue of nationalism BJP is going to win hands down. Okay,
Rahul, you know, some of the oft-repeated promises also making their way back into the manifesto. Uniform Civil Code, for instance, 33% reservation for women, for instance, you know, within the constitutional framework. Sabrimala also way into the manifesto. These issues, these promises made in the manifesto that have been repeated several times over matter.
So let me point out a couple of things. One, I think if Congress manifesto, at least on the economic front and agricultural development front, seem like a thought-out manifesto, BJP's manifesto on that front seems like a hurriedly convert certain things. I'm doing some research on manifestos, so I do believe that manifestos are important documents.
I would hope so.
Yeah, and we are sort of like tabulating it from 1952.
And the reason why we discuss them is because I hope that people will hold parties to account on the basis of the promises that they make.
So what we find that at least in some ways, there is a reversal of trends. BJP's documents earlier used to be much more thought. Since 2014, it seems like a hurriedly convened things. Whereas Congress
because Prime Minister Modi is the trump card, right?
Cover says it all.
Yeah, that's my point. It's about Prime Minister Modi. It's not ab ki baar BJP ki sarkar. It's ab ki baar Modi sarkar. So who cares about the manifesto when you have the Prime Minister as the trump card?
And even small details on the manifesto's cover pages.
Many typos in the manifesto as well.
BJP still, so BJP has Prime Minister's message, party president's message, and on the last page they have their three ideologues, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee and also Vajpayee. Congress manifesto, on the other hand, does not have a single leader other than Rahul Gandhi. So these are important similar.
Okay.
So last point, what I want to make, so what you asked about the recurring themes, BJP's manifesto is an ideological document.
Okay.
They are basically, so one of the ideological points which is missing from 2014, last time they had the element of cow slaughter. This time they do not have the law on the cow slaughter. So it's an ideological document. And what I want to sort of reiterate, manifestos are not written to reach out directly to voters. These are messages to the party cadres on which they are going to mobilize voters. And some of the, it's an ideological thing. And its cadres are going to basically mobilize on those issues.
Okay, so the cadre will be mobilized on the ideological issues. This is an ideological document. Avik Saha, your comments on what you've seen in the manifesto and what you believe this is likely to do or not do for the BJP?
It's a book with a beautiful preface, but once you turn the pages, there's nothing inside it. On the farmers' front, it's particularly disappointing. It's a complete defiance of rural India. As Yogendra Yadav was saying, it's as if that, we will do what we want. You may vote for us. We don't care if you don't. Why the largest single block of voters is being treated like this completely puzzles me. I think they believe that on the question of Rashtravad, they have a greater purchasing power among the electorate. But I don't know how much Rashtravad will matter when you really go to sleep hungry. And the crisis, there's a denial of the agrarian crisis. There's a denial. That's shocking. One can say that, okay, I'm dealing with it, I'm trying. But here they don't talk about it. So there is no agrarian crisis. Farmers are not in distress. And farming is not an important issue. They will throw some 6,000 rupees a year at you and be happy. So overall, the manifesto is extremely disappointing, even when it reaches out to the other segments. I don't agree that a manifesto is merely an ideological document. In a country like India, which is emerging as an economy, and there is a greater percentage of literates now, people look at a party's manifesto to understand what the party is promising to the electorate. And the promises are so vague and are so non-consequential. We shall preserve the nationality. That's a duty of every government. That doesn't have to be a promise. That can't be a promise, in fact, under the Constitution. But yet that is chosen to be, they've chosen to make that the most important electoral plank, Shireen. And it surprises me whether this government actually has a plan to govern this country, or they merely just want to be on their chair for the joy of being on their chair and whatever perquisites that come with it.
Okay, let me get Zafar now to react to all of the comments that have come in. Zafar, consensus here that this has been a hurriedly put together document. It's short on detail, tall on promises, that there is almost a denial, to quote Avik Saha and Yogendra Yadav, on the agrarian crisis and the agrarian challenges that you face. And also the point that was being made there by Sanjay Jha on jobs. Because once again, if you look at what your manifesto says on jobs, very, very sketchy. It talks about Mudra being extended. It talks about, Startup India being extended. It talks about focusing on 22 major champion sectors. But there isn't any clarity on how job creation will in fact take place. So now that we've thrown all of those questions your way, Zafar Islam, your time starts.
Well, Shireen, I've heard everyone, but it's very unfair to make this kind of a comment about the manifesto or Sankalpat having, because this feedback has come from, this Sankalpat have been prepared based on the feedback from 6 crore people of our country. We have visited, we have taken their feedback, and the objective of this Sankalpat that the common man on the street should feel secure, safe and secure, and their concern needs to be addressed. And if you just see the ease of living, when I say whether it comes to water connection, what the Honorable Prime Minister has stated, by 2024, every single household will have the water connection in their home. Nal se jal is something which you have completely ignored, because that is a common man is more concerned about water coming to their household.
It's also in the Congress manifesto.
The Pakka Makan. Just a second, Mr. Sanjay, I haven't interrupted you. Then the other concern which you are talking about, the about the farming community. I think you should see that, as I said, the scope of that scheme have been increased. The 2 hectare, the restriction was there. That of course that will be the entire detail of the scheme will soon come out, and the beneficiary, who will be the beneficiary of the scheme, will definitely be out in public domain. But of course, our commitment to the farmers is something which has been spelled out in this vision document. Secondly, in this Sankalpat. Secondly, the loan, interest-free loan of 1 lakh for up to 1 to 5 years is something which completely you have ignored. That is something which brings a huge relief, and the commitment to invest for the agri sector of 25,000 crores, something again it has been ignored. This will
not ignoring,
productivity,
sir.
and
it's
this
running on the screens.
No,
all of
you are
that
talking about the economy,
screen,
the job and economy. You are talking about job and economy, and say if you see the roadmap which has been defined in this Sankalpa, that how we want to see India. When this UPA government had left a fragile economy in 2014, India was at 11th position. You see,
they were voted out, sir. That is why the UPA was voted out.
No, that's what I'm saying, that we have emerged as a global superpower. Today we are the fastest growing economy. We are at the 6th position, and soon we have also set a target that by 2025, it should be 5 trillion economy, and by 2032 it should be 10 trillion economy. As the economy will grow, as the GDP will grow, and this is the best 5 years in the history of independent India, where you have the highest GDP growth, lowest inflation, lowest fiscal deficit. Every single parameter, if you see, we have been able to deliver, and the job has been created. It's just the informal sector, there is no payroll method. That's why you are not able to capture. But the livelihood of the people of this country has improved significantly. But unfortunately, there are some Ivy League kind of analysts who they do not want to comment on. They do not want to comment or really see the livelihood of a common man. The target which we have set, you have to address that target. We have said that we want to take out people from below the poverty line, and it should be in single digit.
Yes, below the poverty line. Yes,
living below the poverty line, single digit, and ultimately we have to eradicate something. It's not a slogan of Congress party. We are determined. It's a commitment to the nation. And of course, national security is a very important issue. Terrorism is an important issue. NRC is an important issue. Article 37 abrogation of Article 70 is a important issue. And so is 35A.
If economy is doing so well, why so many incentives are being given? I mean, pension for shopkeepers. So many incentives for farmers. If the economy is doing so well, then there is no need for all these incentives.
Okay, Rahul, very quickly, you wanted to comment.
Of course,
not really, but I think in some ways.
Coming back to you, Zafar.
I think Prime Minister on the very first day when he took office, he promised that when he goes for election, he will present a report card. So what we don't see here, a report card of 5 years and a big blueprint for next 5 years.
Okay. Short, as I said, short on specifics. Sanjay Jha, closing comments from you. At the end of the day, it's been made amply clear this is going to be a battle that the BJP will fight on the national security card, and the trump card is Prime Minister Modi. The question, though, is does the opposition have enough pocketbook issues in the arsenal to be able to take them on?
Sharon, I want to let you know times have changed. I have a lot of respect for Rashid, but the truth is I think no longer can a manifesto be treated like just a paper tiger. I see a lot more buzz, a lot more conversations. India has become younger. The young of India, the millennials and the zillennials want to know which political party is something that I can align myself for the future. But the fundamental point, even when Narendra Modi's government talks about national security, I'll tell you, Shirin, the irony there. If you look at the section on terrorism, it does not even mention Pakistan. The Congress document categorically mentions Pakistan in terrorism. and says that we'll work with other, superpowers and other, important countries to put pressure on Pakistan on terror. This government ducks mentioning Pakistan on the document. So for all the machismo and the muscular tones they make, they actually haven't presented a strong argument. And how can the government which allowed Pulwama to happen, where 45 of our own CRPF soldiers were slaughtered in cold blood, how can they claim to be actually protecting the people of India? On Kashmir, we have a serious problem. Kashmir is a tinderbox. And the terrorist who killed our soldiers was a locally recruited Kashmiri. So there are larger complex issues. And, just trying to say that we are muscular and Balakot happened, well, let me tell you, that's not the answer. I think there are senior people from the defense who have criticized the BJP for making political capital out of military success. And I do think these are moral questions that India needs to vote for in 2019.
Avik Sahab, closing comments from you.
The BJP manifesto is a document of illogic. For 5 years, the BJP has been in power. It claimed that it has done a lot of work to improve the economy of the country. If the economy had really improved, nationalism would not have become an issue. Terrorism would not have become an issue. India would have grown economically because they have failed on all fronts of the economy, including the agrarian sector. Suddenly, nationalism, terrorism, these are being made issues. And these are dangerous issues. These are not just words. Nationalism for BJP does not mean the pride of India. It means dividing Indians into two clear segments. Those who agree with BJP are Rashtravadis and those who don't. This is the agenda. This is the manifesto. This is the hidden message of the manifesto. And we must be extremely cautious of this. And there is nothing in that manifesto which is pro-progress, pro-growth, pro-future. It has no vision at all.
Okay, well, that's a scathing commentary coming in there from Avik Saha of the BJP's manifesto. As I've been pointing out, the priority, the number one priority for the BJP as part of its electoral promises in the manifesto, national security, Rashtravad, and everything else comes below that. That's been made amply clear today. If you heard the Prime Minister, if you heard the Home Minister Rajnath Singh, who also was the head of the manifesto committee. In fact, comments coming in from the Finance Minister, who spoke about how this manifesto was not a manifesto that was put together by Ivy League experts or the Tukre gang. So the message through the proceedings this morning when the BJP's manifesto was unveiled was that this is a campaign that will be fought on nationalism and national security. Well, we've run out of time on this edition of the Election Exchange. Rashid, Rahul, Syed Zafar Islam, Sanjay Jha, Avik Saha, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Zafar, quickly, you have 10 seconds. You wanted to make a quick final word.
No, I think it is completely misunderstood by some of the panelists, and they have completely misunderstood the intent of the Bharatiya Janata Party, because the intent of the Bharatiya Janata Party is the common man, the middle class. Intent of the trading community, the businessmen, everyone. We have not left out anyone. And the farming communities. Okay. But your focus.
So that's what all parties do. All parties reach out to every constituency.
No. And no, but it is not like a manifesto where you just make the announcement. It is that's what the differentiating factor here.
That but you have on your biggest promise you've just
and that's why the Honourable Prime Minister said that unlike 5 years,
it's a one-line statement. On your biggest promise in the manifesto, it's a one-line statement.
No, the details will come out soon, but I'm saying that the Prime Minister has very clearly stated that there are some commitment is making not for 2024, that within 5 years we will do. We will do it by 2022, like doubling the income, farmer income.
Don't worry,
or we will do something which will be spent on later. That there are certain commitments. Pakka Ghar to everyone by 2022. It is not something which is like a date which has been. No, the date has been also indicated.
Don't worry,
the roadmap
Zafar, and new government will take care of it. Don't worry.
It's something which the government will. Government has to do. Not the Congress party.
Okay, all right, okay. Time out for the spokesperson. Quick comment to end. Quick comment.
I think the real tragedy of this election 2019 and the difficult question for voters to decide is, one, if BJP had performed well on all economic front, then they would not have needed national security as their trump card. But vice versa, you also need to think that if BJP had done so poorly, then all the opposition party did not need to come together to contest BJP, right? So even the opposition coming together is a manifestation of that they cannot take alone. Take
on the BJP by themselves. So yes, there are vulnerabilities. Now the question is, how much can the opposition capitalize on those vulnerabilities? And as we pointed out, the trump card continues to be Prime Minister Modi for the Bharatiya Janata Party. The BJP is hoping to ride on the Prime Minister's individual popularity to see them through election 2019 as well. Gentlemen, out of time. Thanks very much for joining us here on the Election Exchange. Well, election manifestos are all about words that may or may not translate into reality. They're essentially promises of efforts to be made should the party win. So we thought we'd get a last word in, pun intended. Kevin Lee is here with his special brand of analysis of the BJP and Congress manifesto. So Kevin, what's the good word?
Well, plenty of good words. The important question is how often has either party used these good words? We'll start off with things related to employment and jobs, which is the buzzword around this time. The BJP has used the word employment only 12 times in its manifesto versus the Congress, which has used it 26 times. Jobs, similarly, the Congress 27 times versus 2 times for the BJP. Demonetization, which you remember is a BJP idea or BJP policy, the Congress has actually mentioned it more times than the BJP in its manifesto. Moving on to issues of security and nationalism, where you'd expect the BJP to use these words more often, but the Congress has actually used the words security, border, armed forces and terror more times than the BJP. The word Mandir, however, features in the BJP manifesto 3 times, and it doesn't feature in the Congress manifesto at all. Speaking about development and growth, here's where the BJP has a bit of an edge. The BJP has used the word development in its manifesto 79 times versus 24 by the Congress. Infrastructure, similarly, again, the BJP has used the word more often. Armed forces, the Congress using it almost twice as much as the BJP. Equality, funnily enough, is the only word that we researched that both parties used equally at 3 times each. Progress, the Congress marginally ahead, using it 16 times versus 15 times by the BJP. The word development has been used, that's the highest used word by the BJP in its manifesto, 79 times. Coming to tax and GST, the Congress has used the word tax 47 times in its manifesto. It's actually the most used word that we did research versus 30 times by the BJP. GST, again, a BJP idea, a BJP execution this time around. The Congress has used it more than double of the number of times that the BJP has used it in its manifesto. Going to farmers and agriculture is, again, an important issue this time around. The BJP has used the word farmer 41 times versus 35 times used by the Congress. Agriculture, the Congress is ahead. Rural, the BJP is ahead. So almost even in those terms. And speaking about specific sections of society, the word women has been used more by the BJP than the Congress, although marginally. Minority is used more by the Congress. Scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, the Congress using the word more often than the BJP. And like you mentioned, it's about what these promises actually lead to and action taken on them. But in the war of the words, the Congress seems to be ahead on a large number of key issues. Back to you.
All right, Kevin, thanks very much. Our election caravan is in Western Uttar Pradesh, which votes in 3 days. One of the most crucial battles is being fought in Saharanpur. It's a 3-way contest between sitting BJP MP Raghav Lakhanpal, Imran Masood of the Congress, and Fazlur Rahman of the SP-BSP alliance. Parikshit Luthra does a ground check of what traders, farmers, and the common man of Saharanpur are looking for.
यहाँ तो बोटी बोटी करने वाले साहब भी हैं और कांग्रेस के शहजादा के बड़े चहेते हैं। वो बोटी बोटी की धमकी देने वाले लोग हैं और हम बेटी बेटी को सुरक्षा और सम्मान देने वाले हैं।
Prime Minister Modi launched a scathing attack on Congress's Saharanpur candidate Imran Masood, who had made controversial remarks against him ahead of the 2014 elections. Such is the importance that Akhilesh and Mayawati have also campaigned in the constituency. Congress's rally, which was supposed to be addressed by Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi, was cancelled due to bad weather. While the defender is sitting MP Raghav Lakhanpal, the challengers are Imran Masood of the Congress and Fazlur Rahman of the Mahagathbandhan.
देखिए, इस बार इंशाल्लाह हम 2 लाख से ज़्यादा वोट से जीतेंगे, क्योंकि इस बार हमें सब वर्गों का समर्थन मिल रहा है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के एमपी की नाराजगी बहुत ज़्यादा है।
We've established a university here. We've constructed the highway from Delhi to Saharanpur up to Shakumri Devi Temple. We've done lots of things here, things that he and his family, when they were in power, never even thought about.
Voters in this political background acknowledge that there has been development in the area, but add that there is a lot more that needs to be done.
Development है and it is continuous process. Development अभी और होना है. Scope अभी काफ़ी है. Actually ये सीट पहले भी देखिए, इसमें पहले मायावती यहाँ से इलेक्शन लड़ी थी. ये इम्पोर्टेंस इसलिए आ जाती है कि ये वेस्ट यूपी के ये 3-4 जगह जो हैं, सहारनपुर हुआ, मेरठ हुआ, मुजफ्फरनगर हुआ, ये सारी इंपॉर्टेंट सीट्स में ही आती हैं. तो इस वजह से लोगों का फोकस रहता है, अगर सहारनपुर में विन करेंगे तो इसका इम्पैक्ट आसपास भी आएगा.
तो चुनाव से हर आदमी यही चाहता है कि हमारा शहर जो है स्वच्छ रहे, सड़कें अच्छी हों, पानी, बिजली, हैं, इन सब की व्यवस्था सही सलामत हो.
सहारनपुर तो एक ऐसा प्रोग्रेस करनी चाहिए शहर को, जैसे आम शहरों में है, सब कुछ है, यहाँ रईसी भी है, गरीबी भी है, लेकिन वो जो प्रोग्रेस दिखनी चाहिए कि सहारनपुर, मेरी शादी को 50 साल हो गए, हम देख रहे हैं कि कुछ वैसे का वैसे.
The Saharanpur district is known for handicrafts and wood carvings, but traders here say that the industry has suffered because of GST and demonetization, and in the last 10 years, the industry has shrunk and craftsmen have migrated to other states. One of the oldest handicraft traders in the area, Umesh Sachdeva, says there is an urgent need to review GST on the industry.
देखो, अटेंशन का मतलब ये है कि अगर हमारी इंडस्ट्री पे अगर जीएसटी 12% है तो अटेंशन नहीं दी, उनको कम से कम 12% से 5% तो जीएसटी कर देना चाहिए.
The fight for Saharanpur is very similar to the one that took place in 2014. Once again, you have Raghav Lakhanpal of the BJP pitted against Imran Masood of the Congress. But what may make things difficult for Raghav Lakhanpal is the fact that Bhim Army is supporting the Congress candidate Imran Masood. For Imran too, things may not be easy because you've got two strong political candidates. You also have Fazlur Rahman from the Mahagathbandhan, and many believe that the Muslim vote bank may get divided between these two candidates. Having said that, what people of Saharanpur really want is more progress for their city, more employment opportunities and better roads. With video journalist Gaurav Tyagi from Saharanpur constituency of Western UP, this is Parikshit Luthra.
Well, that was Saharanpur. Not just Andhra and Western UP, Uttarakhand also votes in phase 1. Anu Sharma spoke with the sitting Chief Minister, BJP's Trivendra Singh, who's confident of a repeat of 2014. But the Congress is still in play. The state Congress president also spoke with Anu. He says that he expects a whitewash in the Congress's favour. Tall claims being made on the campaign trail. Take a look.
आज देश की जो जनता है, जो मतदाता है, वो अमेरिकन पैटर्न पे जा रहा है. वो देख रहा है कि मुखिया कौन बनने वाला है, उसको देख रहा है. क्योंकि अगर हेड ठीक रहता है, मुखिया ठीक रहता है, तो बाकी नीचे सब ठीक हो जाता है. क्योंकि मैं जानता हूं कि राजनीति में लंबे समय से काम कर रहा हूं. जब कोई ईमानदार आदमी ऊपर बैठ जाता है तो नीचे सब ठीक हो जाता है. तो इसलिए आज जो चुनाव है वो दूसरे पैटर्न पर जा रहा है कि वो लीडर को देख रहे हैं कि आखिर लीडर कौन है. ऐसे स्टेट में हो रहा है. स्टेट में चेहरा कौन सा है, देश में चेहरा कौन सा है. तो जब आज लोग ये सब देख रहे हैं कि कोई चेहरा नजर नहीं आता है, तो स्वाभाविक रूप से जो चेहरा नजर आ रहा है उसको लोग सब प्रकाशित कर रहे हैं.
So Congress won all seats in 2009. Then BJP, it was a clean sweep for BJP in 2014. What will it be in 2019?
जो 2019 का परिणाम होगा वो 2014 को दोहराएगा. और पूरे उत्तराखंड में भाजपामय वातावरण है. उत्तराखंड की जनता नरेंद्र भाई मोदी को दूसरी बार देश के प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में देखना चाहती है. और अभी तक जो मैंने पूरे उत्तराखंड में अपने प्रवास किए हैं, रैलियां की हैं, उनमें साफ दिखाई दे रहा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी पहले से भी अधिक मार्जिन से इस बार जीत कर आएगी.
Sir, a couple of senior leaders, they are not contesting in these Lok Sabha polls. So उससे आपको क्या लगता है कि जो मूड है पार्टी का और स्टेट में वो थोड़ा सा वीक होगा?
नहीं, मैं समझता हूँ कि जो पार्टी के फोरम पर ही सारी बातें तय हुई हैं कि भाई आफ्टर 75 फिर नए लोगों को मौका देना चाहिए. और उसमें पार्टी के अंदर हमारा जब कोई भी निर्णय होता है तो वो सामूहिक होता है, उसमें सब लोग इन्वॉल्व होते हैं और इसलिए जो कैंडिडेट भी दिए गए हैं तो उनसे पूछताछ कर दिए गए हैं, उनकी राय से दिए गए हैं कि भाई आप अपनी राय दीजिए। और इसलिए जो कैंडिडेट सामने आए हैं वो सब उनके ही परामर्श के बाद आए हैं और इसलिए इस तरह की कोई चीज़ दिखाई भी नहीं दे रही है और मुझे नहीं लगता कि इसका कोई असर होगा। जब नियम है सबके लिए है।
सर, रोजगार की एक प्रॉब्लम नजर आ रही है, क्या लगता है आपको कि अब जो वोटर इस बार वोट करेगा, क्या एक्सपेक्ट करे वो?
2 सालों में हमने 3.5 लाख लोगों को रोजगार दिया है। कुछ को नियमित रोजगार दिया है और कुछ को अनियमित, जिसको कहना चाहिए, उद्योगों के माध्यम से, सरकारी विभागों में जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के बेस पर हैं। इन 2 सालों में मैंने 700 से ज़्यादा सभाएं, मीटिंग्स और लोगों से इंटरेक्शन किया है, 700 से ज़्यादा। तो हम पूरी पारदर्शिता के साथ काम करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
2019 में मैं समझता हूं कि 5 की 5 लोकसभा सीटें कांग्रेस जीतेगी। जो प्रीवियस हिस्ट्री आपने कही, बट नेचुरल है कि जनता जो जनादेश देती है वो सबको स्वीकार होता है और मेरा ये मानना है कि जो सरकार चल रही है, चाहे उत्तराखंड राज्य की हो चाहे देश की हो, दोनों ही सरकारें लगातार जन विरोधी निर्णय लेने का काम कर रही है। इसीलिए उत्तराखंड नहीं बल्कि देश के लोगों ने बदलाव का मन बनाया है। जो वादे 2014 में किए गए थे, एक भी वादा पूरा नहीं किया गया। उत्तराखंड राज्य के अंदर डबल इंजन की सरकार बनी, लेकिन गरीब आदमी का जीना दुर्लभ है। सस्ता राशन गायब है, सस्ती चीनी गायब है, पेंशन योजनाएं बंद करने का काम किया, गैस का सिलेंडर 800 तक पहुंच गया है। और मैं कह सकता हूं कि एक भी वादा जो है पूरा नहीं हुआ है। इसीलिए लोगों ने मन बनाया है कि इस बार बदलाव करना है।
कौन से वादे आप ऐसे हैं जो आप पूरे कर पाएंगे अगर आपको जनता वापस वोट करती है?
नहीं, देखिए, प्रश्न ये नहीं है कि हम कौन सा वादा पूरा करेंगे। ये कोई व्यक्ति का चुनाव नहीं है। मैं एक राजनीतिक दल का व्यक्ति हूँ। कांग्रेस पार्टी ने मुझे प्रत्याशी बनाया है और राहुल गांधी जी ने चुनावी घोषणा पत्र में जो वादे किए हैं, निश्चित रूप से उन तमाम वादों को हम पूरा करने का काम करेंगे। राहुल जी ने कहा है कि सरकार आने के बाद हम किसानों का ऋण माफ़ करेंगे और हमारे घोषणा पत्र में ये बात भी कही गई है, जो बीपीएल फैमिलीज़ हैं उनको अपलिफ्ट करने के लिए हम 1 साल में 72,000 का पैकेज दे करके सीधे महिला के खाते में उसको जमा करने का काम करेंगे। और ये भी कहा है कि जो पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के लोग हैं, जब वो अपनी शहादत देते हैं तो उनको शहीद का दर्जा नहीं मिल पाता है, इसलिए उनको भी जो है वही जो ऑनर हम सेना को देते हैं, पैरामिलिट्री को भी वही ऑनर देने का काम हम करेंगे। उन्होंने एजुकेशन के परिप्रेक्ष्य में कहा है, हेल्थ सिस्टम के परिप्रेक्ष्य में कहा है कि इसको भी हम और स्ट्रेंथन करने का काम करेंगे ताकि जो गरीब बच्चे हैं वो शिक्षा उसमें ले सके, उनका चिकित्सा सुविधा भी जो उनको आसानी से मिल सके। इस तरीके से जो वादे चुनावी घोषणा पत्र में किए गए हैं उसको पूरा करने का काम हम करेंगे।
Well, it's the Congress versus the BJP in the state of Uttarakhand. Will the BJP retain the 5 seats? That's the big question. With that, it is time for us to make a stop on the election caravan for this evening. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back again with more states next tomorrow. But for now, from all of us here, goodbye. Many thanks for watching. Do stay tuned. We're back in a moment.